Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Darren Milligan. I'm here from the Smithsonian Center for Learning and Digital Access, as well as the MCN board. And I have great pleasure this morning of introducing a couple of exciting case studies. We're really limited on time, so I'm not going to do introductions and anything like that. Yeah, let's move that up. Are you guys going to stay down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just crunch down here. Our first case study this morning is called "Move Fast and Break Things: Hands-on Learning Collaboration with Johns Hopkins University's Museum Studies Program." Take it away, guys.
Cool. So we'll start with introductions. My name is Brendan Ciecko. I'm the founder and CEO of QZM, based up in Boston. It's my fourth MCN. QZM builds technology to help museums, cultural institutions, and public attractions with on-site visitor engagement, as well as member and patron engagement and retention. We received an email last year from Johns Hopkins University that led to a really beautiful partnership, and we'll talk to you about that shortly. But to my left.
Hi, I'm Natalie Marsh. I'm the Director of Education and Outreach for Scottsdale Arts. I'm also a JHU alumni and was the student victim in this process. But it was really exciting, and we'll get into some of those details around that.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Hecht, and I'm the director of Johns Hopkins Graduate Program in Museum Studies. And just to give you some context of the program, the students take 9 courses online and do 1 2-week on-site seminar. And we'll be talking about the seminar that took place in San Diego. And a big thank you to Brendan for working with us and giving us this opportunity. So thanks.
Thank you. So sometime last year, I received an email from Johns Hopkins University about an opportunity to work with the students as part of this on-site experience. And so kind of making our team and our platform available for a wide range of students to really dive in a short couple of days, learn something completely new, and leave with a tangible, usable prototype in an actual museum. And so Natalie, being one of the students that took part in this, can talk a little bit to the experience that she had.
Yeah, so a little bit like The Real World on MTV a long time ago. We were 20 strangers stuck in a room in beautiful San Diego in January. The only time it rained in Southern California, we heard. And we were asked to build an app in 2 weeks. And needless to say, you could cut the stress and tension in the room the first couple of days. But we had to trust the process, which is all project-based. And it's honestly, the lack of time became our best asset in the long run. But we spent the first couple of days doing research. We were lucky to live on Balboa Park, which is a plethora of museums and cultural organizations. And so we really had a lot of places to pull from research. Initially, we were working out of the Museum of Man, and we were really all struck by the Museum of Man's master plan to put a visitor-first focus. So that visitor-first, acknowledging accessibility, acknowledging that sort of Falk constructivist, if I need to put my JHU grad hat on there, process about how we need to think about the visitor comes into the museum for various motivations, as well as with their own learnings and understandings. And so that really created a lens for us to start thinking about it, because in 2 weeks we really had to have a focus very, very quickly on.
So Phyllis, what are your thoughts on hands-on learning experiences as kind of this new era, both of professional development for museum professionals, but as well as kind of what's now here among us in digital learning opportunities for students at Johns Hopkins?
Right. So actually, especially because we are an online program, we think that hands-on opportunities are so important. So in our 2-week seminars, which we actually hold all over the world, wherever there are a lot of museums, so we've been to London and Barcelona and Berlin and Washington and Chicago and San Diego. So during these 2-week seminars, we always try to do some type of hands-on experience, which will be really important and valuable to the students as a current or future museum professional. And so the San Diego one, 2 weeks doing an app, we do always have a very intensive experience. In DC last year or 2 years ago, we did a pop-up exhibition at a library in town where the students publicized the exhibition, they planned the exhibition, they worked with the community. It turned into an they worked with the library staff really closely. It turned into this fabulous community event. They planned it, did it in 1 week. The second week, we evaluated it, created a summary, submitted that to the library. The library was so excited that now this year they are doing another pop-up, and one of our alums is going to be helping with that project. Also, what happened from that project were two of the students who were in there who worked in museums already went back to their museums and created pop-up exhibitions. So this is what we're always trying to do, and I just want to add that we don't only do hands-on in the on-site, we also try to use digital tools and do the online experience, the hands-on experience in our online classes. So.
Cool. And Natalie, what are some of the biggest takeaways for you that you feel you and your fellow students wouldn't have otherwise been able to experience or grasp had it not been for kind of diving deep and getting your hands dirty on something in such a short period of time, might I add?
To echo what Phyllis said, I think the hands-on is so crucial because once you're in the actual field, you have to work with your team, and you have to trust your team, you have to collaborate, you have to recognize strengths across your team. So while we were a group of 20, we still worked in smaller groups of 5, which is very indicative of a large organization and then your various expertise pools that you have. And so you have to navigate ups and downs, scope creep, and even in 2 weeks, scope creep can still happen. Really remaining focused while still allowing for unique ideas to come through. We love Post-it, so we use that to organize our thoughts visually. I think spending that time getting to know your coworkers. So imagine the first time you start a new job, spend that little bit of time in that first week getting to know the people around you, getting to find out who they are, what they like to work with, what they like to do. And then now let's delve in and trust and work together on something, and having that sense of really needing to sort of trust and communicate well. I think that's what the online format also does really well, is you have to communicate really well, and you have to communicate all the time. I mean, there's a number of tools that we use to do that, but I think even though we live in an office where sometimes we work in a bullpen with a whole bunch of people around us, we still don't always communicate to each other as frequently. So we knew in that short duration of 2 weeks that we didn't have a lot of luxury to sort of navel gaze and sit back and think about things. We had to jump in and really do it. And so I think through that hands-on approach, we all had a common vision to get an app done in 2 weeks. And if you have that common vision, as daunting as it may seem, then you really can get some amazingly magical stuff done within a quick time. And I think that's the function of whatever team, whatever level, whatever part of the organization that you're working on, ultimately having that common, clear vision that you want to do, even in short incremental steps, really set me up for now taking that experience back to my job while I'm not there yet with my organization to build an app. That idea of trusting the project base, trusting the process, and having a clear vision is something that really resonated with me to take back to my professional career.
And one of the things we were really excited to see from probably both directions, the JHU side, but also what the graduate students came to the program with, was this deep interest in accessibility. And so, Phyllis, I'm hoping you can speak a little bit to JHU's kind of interest in driving that forward, using the power of digital, and then Natalie, talk through some of the actual instances that you and your fellow graduate students and friends put together to make this thing happen.
We, actually, as part of our curriculum, we have a class in accessibility, and we actually believe we're one of the only museum studies programs, or one of the few museum studies programs that puts that emphasis on accessibility. The course itself doesn't just deal with digital tools, it deals with how can you make accessible everything, every aspect of the museum, from marketing the museum to visitors hearing the tours and the lectures, to being able to participate in educational programming, to access the website. And but one of the key issues or key things focus of the class is to be able to create policy around accessibility and also strategically make a plan for your accessibility in the museum, so we're not just having one-off projects.
And I think accessibility has a lot of different definitions. It's everything from those who are hard of hearing, hard of sight, even those who just different learning styles, and acknowledging that. One of the first things we did in that research time was we went and visited MOPA, the Museum of Photographic Arts, and we used these cards to sort of put ourselves in the shoes of a woman who's pregnant, a person who is undergoing chemotherapy, an older adult who has hard time seeing in dim lighting, and really looking at a museum in kind of a broad sense of what accessibility could be. We also were very aware of, again, that fault constructivist, that people come for social reasons. They're curious. They're there because I have to see this and this has to be checked off my list. Or museums are also places of sort of respite and recharge. And so we use those different tactics to design the content within the framework to acknowledge right away, hi visitor, how are you today? What do you want to do? Are you curious? Are you social? Are you looking to recharge? And then we spent time in each experience going to popping them around the museum in different ways, whether it was a slow way to sort of relax and recharge, or a really fast way. Don't miss the mummies, don't miss this, don't miss the things, so you can say, I did that, take a selfie, and go on. So it was really about having that understanding that a visitor comes to our organizations, and then designing that around that. And that actually gave us a real sense of focus too, because it was like, we have 2 weeks, we have to also acknowledge our own self and the capabilities that we have to understand the platform, to understand the back end, to be able to take good photographs, to be able to record our voices, to do all of those things. We really couldn't think too far and zany. We had to keep it manageable. So accessibility to us was a really fun way to sort of frame this project.
And a little bit of icing on the cake was that this particular project in collaboration was recognized by the American Alliance of Museums for their Emerging Professionals Forum. And I'm curious, like, what type of impact does that have on the emerging professional in terms of motivation, in terms of a tangible project that they have? And it was really thrilling to hear that the students were continuing to work on this even after the project, or rather the program had ended.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we are really proud of our students for being part of that. And we encourage every seminar project to submit a proposal to the Emerging Innovators Forum at AAM. That's just been going on for maybe 3 years or so. But, and one year we had 3 groups from 3 different cities actually demo. The thing about that forum is that it really is presented as student work and emerging museum professional work. So what's wonderful about it is that, and it's a little like a science fair, where, everybody gets a table and you do poster boards, and we did have a very professional banner made by one of our students here. But what happens is the museum professionals who are at the conference wander around, see these groups, and give feedback to the students and ask questions. And so it's not just a presentation at a panel, or it's really an opportunity to meet museum professionals and get feedback and talk to people in the field. So we think it's a great experience. Cool.
Cool. So we want to leave exactly 60 seconds for Q&A. We have a timer, and it hit 60 seconds left. So,
Keeps
there
the focus.
any questions?
One big question.
We weren't just working on the app the whole time. We visited
Yeah.
like 2 museums a day, and so.
It was a very active 2 weeks.
It was great. We all became much better friends as a result.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Well,
Great.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.